So now, Miles, the beautiful thing is just like anything else, because we have this information in Vappy, right? We can just tie it into something else. And let's just say we wanted all that information to be added in a row on that guy's Google Sheet. Then we would just click onto that Google Sheet and then we will do the thing that we know so much, which is mapping, right? We're going to go to that, like, look at this, right? As you can see, let's just say I wanted to map the information. I would just keep expanding until I see this stuff. And then look, category, clog, first name right here. I would map maybe first name here, category here, nice name, da da da. And so, yeah, you would do that for all the pieces of information. And the next time this runs, guess what? You're going to open up your Google Sheet and all the information that was collected by your voice AI is going to be in your CRM, in your sheet, without you having to do a single thing at all. It is literally that easy, folks. We just ran through it.
Would it still fill it in?
Yep.
Or would it just continuously run it?
It would fill in the entire Google Sheet as long as you map the variables to the correct columns. That's it. Right? Make sure you name the scenario. Make sure you save it. And now we're going to go ahead and check box a quick thing in our whimsical. So where did we say we have to do? Here it is. Configure a tool that will collect all the info and store it in a sheet. Done. Now we have to configure two more tools, guys. Check calendar availability and check and create calendar booking. Those should not be too hard, okay? They should not be kind of like what we just did with Make. Thing is, you have an option to do them with Make, but Vappy came out with an option to let you do it directly within Vappy, which should make life a little bit easier. I've actually never done it this way. I've always done it the hard way, just because that's the first way I learned and it's how I'm used to. So all this cheap shit started coming out. I'm like, why the fuck would I do that? So these are a bunch of default tools that you have here. And the ones that we care about, obviously, is Google Calendar. And first one's going to be check availability. So we're going to open it. Here's that tool name. We still need a description. And we need a few different things to connect our calendar in here. So what's the description, right? This is a tool to get the availability of our calendar, okay? Use this when an availability needs to be obtained from the calendar. You can see I'm trying to be as straightforward as I can. I'm going to click save real quick so it doesn't go away. Go for the calendar settings. We need two things to connect it. We need our calendar ID and we need our time zone. Very important. If your time zone is messed up, your whole everything is going to get messed up. Time zone might be the ugliest, most annoying thing that if you get wrong in any kind of AI system that deals with time and a calendar and scheduling, it throws everything off. Make sure this time zone thing is correct, okay? Especially if you're dealing with maybe daylight savings time or any kind of variation where your time zone is a little bit off or different. So let's go ahead and get our calendar ID. Where are we going to get that? We're going to open up Google Calendar. And if you go to your Google Calendar, and the place you get your calendar ID is going to be a very, very weird place, okay? In this, when you click on your calendar, you can see at the very top, you can see settings, calendar, and then this very long, ugly number right after it, or the string. This is your calendar ID, all right? You're going to copy this thing, and do not ask me how I know that. Just know that this is your calendar ID. You're going to go into Vappy, and you're going to paste that in here. And that's it. So let's just see. What is this? Messages. Configure messages to be spoken during different stages of tool execution. What this means is while it is actually using this Google Calendar check-in availability tool, should it say something to the user? Request complete, request failed, request response delayed. If I want to say request started, what kind of options do I have? I have default, aka the server will use the default message, or wait for the message to be spoken before triggering the tool call, aka hold on, give me a second, let me check my calendar, and then checks the tool call. So I think I like that. Conditions. So basically saying when it's about to use the Google Calendar check availability tool to get an availability, it's going to say this first, one moment while I check our calendar, and then it's going to wait until this message is said, and then it's going to execute that tool.
Pretty sound more human. Say, just give me a quick second, let me check our calendar.
Give me a quick sec while I check our calendar and see if that's available. How about that, right? Is that okay?
Perfect, animal.
Save. All right. Let's configure the other one. Request failed and request response delayed. If for some reason it got delayed, let's make sure that that's something different. Sorry for the delay. Looks like I'm running into a small issue. Let me try checking one more time. If I can't get the availability. Just ask me to transfer you to a real person, and I'll transfer this call so they can find out. Or so we're really gonna tell it to tell them to tell it to transfer the call. It's gonna wait 1,000 milliseconds before showing this message. I don't know the baseline of that. I think that's accurate. How much is that? Let's make it 1,500 milliseconds. Wait, and save. And we're just gonna leave it at that. I probably should configure a request failed and then just copy this message, and then for the failure, I'm gonna say, sorry, I couldn't, I ran into a small issue. Ask me to transfer you to a real person. I'll transfer this call so they can find out for you. That's it. And then, do we want it to end the call after the message is spoken? No. Keep the call live. Cool. That's it. Google Calendar tool should be configured now. So what we're going to do, Miles, is we are going to test it. Okay. We have to test it. In order for us to test this, let's test it from the very beginning, not just by throwing a fake thing here. I actually want to test out the flow. Let's just say we want to book something for like April 22nd, which is a Wednesday. I'm going to open up our original Calendly, okay? And I am literally going to try to book for that. And first of all, I'm going to test out an integration so we know that it should be marking it in here inside of our Google Calendar. So Wednesday 22nd right here, and we're going to mark it at 10:30 a.m. And we're going to say testing man, just a test, schedule. So invitation set, boom. All right, so we know that our integration works because our Google Calendar just filled up. So perfect. All right, now what we have to do is we have to jump back into Vappy, and we're gonna call this guy and ask it to schedule us for 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday and see if it could find out if that's available or not. I'm gonna jump back to my phone. I'm gonna give it a call, and we'll try one more time. But that should be good to go. One more thing, we have to add this to its tools, right? Remember, nothing is free in this world, right? We got to add all this stuff to its tool. And I'm going to change the name. You know, I'll keep the name. No, probably should keep it. Jump in here. Go to the tools section. Where is it? Do we just skip it? Oh, we're on the wrong agent. Tools. That's going to be right here. All right. I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to say, oh, wait. No. This is completely wrong. What I'm doing right now is wrong. I'm not adding a section into the info collect tool. I'm literally adding a brand new tool. So this is not something we do here. Sorry, guys. This is something we do here. So I'm going to say, now I will give you a new tool and its description. Give me a markdown section for it and make it brief but functionally operational and easy to understand. Now here's the thing. We're probably going to have to pair this up with the create event tool when we actually do the system prompting. I'm kind of catching this stuff in real time, Miles. I'm going to hold off on doing this. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to jump back into Vappy, and I am going to configure the second tool. And so that way, when we make the change in our tool section, that's it. Like no more changes. It's static, and it goes in the right place, and it covers both tools, not just one. Just because I don't want to have to keep going back and forth and making these changes. And I don't even think we did anything to publish. So I clicked leave so that way nothing gets changed. Let's go back and configure the second tool. First one is done. Create tool, Google Calendar. We already did check availability. We're going to do create event. It should be same exact calendar ID. Google Calendar tool. Use this tool to create an event on the Google Calendar. Use the date and times info provided to you by the caller to create this event. Now, mind you, Miles, we can actually do this creating an event in two different ways. And let me explain this to you real quick. This is a very cool concept. If we, for some reason, didn't trust this AI to use this tool properly and fill in the date and time information properly. Let's just say somebody said 6 a.m. on a Thursday, Friday, or April 2nd, whatever. And for some reason, it got time zones confused or it got something confused. What you can do is instead of configuring Google Calendar tool, you can just do a custom tool and then create a brand new webhook here. That one will specifically be in charge of creating the actual booking, except you can then have an AI in the middle analyze everything that comes from the webhook and determine the exact format that it needs to actually book this thing. Does that make sense? So let's just say we have all this piece of information that we just collected, and part of this is this plumbing diagnostic. Do you see how part of that is caller requests a technician visit tomorrow, April 9th at 4 p.m.? This is just a sentence at this point. What we can do is we can have this AI that goes in the middle, take that sentence and output it in the specific format that Google Calendar needs to actually create the booking inside of Make. So look, if I use create an event here, look and see, it needs calendar ID and it needs event name, which is just the title of the event. I'm going to put it in detail so we can fill more things out. Event name, we're just going to say test. And look right here. It needs a start date and it needs an end date. So you got to remember the start date and end date are text right now. This is what they actually are. So we're going to have GPT take this text and convert it into the exact IANA format for the start and end date that needs to go on this appointment. And what that would look like is maybe something like this, right? So if we came here and we said, convert this to IANA time, start and end dates, 2 different entries. This is maybe something we would say to that little ChatGPT node in the middle, and it would look at the sentence and give us this. And then what we could do is we could take this thing and map it in here. Boom. And it would look like this. Does that make sense what I'm doing right now? So if we had ChatGPT in the middle, look at the sentences that are coming in, that means the AI that's inside of Vappy's brain does not have to output them in the actual format that we care about, because it's going to get processed here in the middle anyways by this AI. And then this create an event would get it in the same exact start and end date that it wants. And you can see duration, whatever, all these different things. We might do this approach depending on how well Vappy can use this tool right here. But actually, I'm not totally sure this is calendar ID here. I just want to double check that. So let me go back to here and I'm going to open up settings. I don't know why I have like a gut feeling it's telling me that for some reason that's not.
Just screenshot and ask ChatGPT if it's calendar ID.
You are so smart, man. You are one of the smart. You're literally becoming like me, dude. It's crazy. We're going to open up ChatGPT and we're going to say, is this my Google Calendar's calendar ID, or do I just use the calendar email itself as calendar ID? Let's see. I'm like 65% sure. So the calendar ID is your actual email address. That's pretty cool. Glad we checked that, boys and girls. So now this is our calendar ID. Let's go ahead and get to Vappy. Otherwise, this would not have worked. Boom. Testament397 at Gmail. Messages. Save. Google Calendar tool. Here's that. America, Chicago. And for this one, we're only going to give it a message when the request is complete, right? Because if it did its job, we want it to tell the person, I just scheduled you on our calendar for the time we talked about. Anything else I can help with? Oh, this is the wrong place. Yeah, request complete. That's where we want it. Yeah, that's it. Now, something's kind of throwing me off here. We never connected Vappy into our Google Calendar, Miles. So I'm kind of confused on how this is authenticating. AKA, how does it know, like, to access our calendar? What's giving it the permissions to go on this calendar and create a booking? That's what I'm a little bit confused about. I feel like we're missing something, and I'm saying this right now because typically that's how it works. Like, you have to give Vappy permission to go in this calendar and create the booking. I just don't know how it's doing it here because I've never used these out-of-the-box tools. I've always done it through Make. Let's go ahead and call the damn thing. Actually, no, before we call it, remember, system prompt, fun stuff. All right, now I'll give you a new tool and its description. Actually, I'll give you 2 new tools. Remember, each action is its own tool. So we're going to give you 2 new tools and their descriptions. Give me a breakdown markdown section for them as well, and make a brief, well functioning, and easy to understand. The tools are called. Now we're gonna go to Vappy and grab the actual tool names. I'm gonna paste that here, and this is used to create an event on the Google Calendar. The second tool is copy the name, jump back here, paste that, and the description for that one is output the full markdown. So I'm going to tell it to give us the entire thing, including the other tool, including the other info collect tool, so we can copy paste it all as one, right? We don't have to go back and play surgeon, do some surgery. Just give me the whole thing and I'll go and replace that whole section. And that should be cooking up our markdown now, so that's good. You can see immediately it's telling you have access to these tools. Now it's going to go through and pretty much do everything we just did. I just realized something. We added some things manually to that markdown section that we did not tell that we added. For example, we added home address, right? So I'm going to jump back here. Also add, well, you know what? We'll do this one manually. It's since we already have it. I'm just going to paste it in here. We don't have to retype everything. And then let me go to the home address section. All I'm doing is just pasting it here so I can come back to it later and then copy paste it. That's it. So is it still writing? I don't think so. I think it's done. Yeah. All right. We'll grab this new markdown, and now we're gonna go back into our Vappy, and we're gonna get that whole markdown section and replace it with the brand new tools section. Purpose, rule, category, rule. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Boom. Replace. All right. Now we just have to add our home thing. So I just kind of temporarily pasted them here, and I'm just gonna draw them. But we need to put it one more other place. Yep, right under plumbing diagnostics. So take this and oh, I hate when it scrolls by itself. All right, here it is. Publish. You can see the change 3 tools, general tool use. All right, skip and publish. That should be it. Let's go. Let's go ahead and test the Google Calendar now. So we already have a fake booking. And we're just going to ask it about the availability of that fake booking. See what happens. Here it is. I'm going to call the thing right now. Let me just make sure before I call it that everything is assigned properly. A lot of people make this mistake. Go to tools, go to the drop down, select the damn tools you configure. If they're not selected, then they're not going to be able to be used. See that? We just configured them and now selected them. So now click publish, skip and publish, and that's it. Cool. Let's go ahead and give it a call, man. Let's figure this out. To be honest, I don't care if it's collecting information. I'm mainly testing out the Google Calendar thing, so I'm going to try to just do that very quickly.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, I just want to schedule an appointment with you guys very quickly. Could you help me schedule something?
Absolutely. I can help get you scheduled. What plumbing issue are we coming out for?
This is a big leak with the water, clogs, or pipes are clogged.
Oh, wow. Yeah. A big leak and clogged pipes can get serious fast. Is the leak actively causing flooding right now?
Just skip all that and schedule somebody to get to my house.
Got it. I'll get someone scheduled to come out. First, is there any active flooding right now?
No.
Or, okay, sorry about that. First, what's the address where the technician should go?
935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, Missouri, 63555.
Thanks. Just to confirm, that's 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, MO 63155, correct? What's your first name?
First name is Anmar. My last name is Miles.
Thanks, Amber Miles. For the big leak clogged pipes issue, when would you like us to send someone out? What's your preferred date?
Could you guys come out on the 22nd at 10:30 a.m.?
Sure thing, Amber Miles. Just to confirm, do you mean the 20th at 10:30 a.m.? What month?
No. I said the 22nd, and we're talking about this month.
Got it, this month. Just to confirm, which month is the 20th you're referring to, and this is for 10:30 a.m.?
I'm talking about this month, which is April, and I said 22nd, not 20th.
Perfect. April 20th at 10:30 a.m. Quick confirmation. Yes, sir.
I know what went wrong.
What?
Do you see how I say April 20 and then I say second?
Yeah.
It doesn't understand the word second is how we say 22 in dates. So it's literally hearing April 20th and then it's seeing the word second. And it's asking me, do you mean like the second April 20th? Do you know what I mean? It's literally just saying, like, do you mean April 20th, the 2nd, aka the 2nd April 20th? I'm like, no, April 22nd. This is one of the situations, guys. Again, this is why like it seems so common sense to us, but it's not common sense to the AI. Now what we have to do, Miles, is we have to go back in its system prompt and tell it that if somebody says the word 22nd or 23rd or 24th, they mean literally like 2-4 or 2-3 or 2-2. That's not something in its system prompt. We're going to have to go back and give it those instructions. But I'm glad we caught that, man. Like, this is a good, real, this is exactly why we do testing, Miles. It's for reasons like this. You can see the AI messed up understanding April 22nd because it wasn't able to comprehend that the word second is part of the 20. It just heard April 20 and then assumed second was something external, something else. Now what I'm going to do, before we fix that part of the system prompt, I'm going to give it one more call and literally tell it April 22. So that way we can actually finish up our calendar test. That was annoying.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, I want to schedule an appointment for April 22. I have a leak that's happening in one of the pipes. It's not urgent. My first name is Anmar. My last name is Miles. And my address is 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, Missouri, 63105. I just kind of sprint boosted it so we don't waste time.
All right, Anmar Miles. Thanks. For the leak in the pipe at 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, Missouri, 63105. What time on April 22 works best for you?
10:30
Morning, afternoon, or a specific time is fine.
10:30 a.m.
Got it. April 22nd at 10:30 a.m. for a leaking pipe at that address. Just to confirm, is that 10:30 a.m. on April 22, 2026?
It's confirming too much. We're going to have to tell in its system prompt not to do that. Keep note of that.
I've got Miles, 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, MO 63105 for a leaking pipe on April 26, 2026 at 10:30 a.m. About how long should I schedule you for? An hour is typical, or do you prefer a different time block?
So it didn't even check if that's available first. Is that time block available? We got to be more specific in
I
our
can check
system
that for you,
prompting.
just to be sure. Give me a quick sec while I check our calendar and see if that's available.
That's the
Sorry,
sentence
I
we
ran
told
into
it
a
to
small
say.
issue. Ask me to transfer you to a real person, and I'll
That's the
transfer
second
call
issue.
So they can find out for you.
So you could not get the calendar availability? You ran into an issue?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I couldn't access the calendar availability from my side due to a technical issue, so I don't want to guess whether 10:30, 11:30 a.m. is open. To get this lined up for a real person to confirm quickly, where exactly is the leak coming from? For example, under a sink.
Just go ahead and transfer me to somebody.
Transferring the call now.
Is your phone ringing, Miles?
Yeah.
Very interesting phone call. We got some work to do, brother. Basically, we have to tighten up our system prompt so that really nails the calendar checking and calendar booking process. Another thing, you see how it immediately got into an error with checking the calendar? And I had a feeling that would happen because we never configured any authentication here, right? Like, so we configure our tools, but like, how does it even have access to our calendar here? Like, there's no API connectivity going here. I wonder if we're missing an API key here somewhere, right? We're gonna have to figure out where that is. Right here, Google Calendar for calendar-based scheduling. Yeah, we never connected this. That's probably why, man. I found it. See, this is what we're missing. Make sure you guys do exactly what I just did. And I should have known ahead of time just because I knew, like, what this is basically permissions for Mappy to access your calendar. We never gave it those permissions. So I'm like, how does it make sense for me to give it calendar ID and time zone if it never has those permissions? That's why it immediately went into that. So again, best way to get around it is integrations. Scroll down, go to Google Calendar, and yeah, do exactly what I just did. Click connect, sign in, and that's it. We should probably do one more test for just the calendar and figure that out, because I really do want to see that working. Once we can at least know that it's pulling calendar details and it can create an event in the proper space, I would be much happier.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service.
Yeah, let's do
what
it.
Can I help with today?
Hey, I want to do a calendar booking for April 22 at 10:30 a.m. because I have a leaking pipe. This is urgent, and my address is 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, Missouri, 63105.
Absolutely, I can help get that booked. What's the first name for the appointment?
And more Miles.
Got it. What's the caller's last name for the booking?
Oh, sorry, Miles. I didn't tell you that was my last name. My last name is Miles.
No worries. Thank you. What's your first name?
Anmar.
All right, Anmar Miles. Thanks. Just to confirm, is that for April 22 at 10:30 a.m. this year? And for the appointment reason, I have leaking pipe. Oh, anything specific like kitchen, bathroom, basement, outside?
Nothing specific. And yes, for April 22 this year.
Give me a quick sec while I check our calendar and see if that's available.
Okay, so we just use the tool. See what happens.
Great. April 22nd at 10:30 a.m. is available. Just to confirm, you'd like us to come out to 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, MO 63105 for a leaking pipe with you listed as Anmar Miles. Is that correct?
Give me one moment.
I'm ready to help whenever you are.
The reason why it said it's available is probably because you see how it says one guest, the person that was invited is awaiting, aka the person that this invite was sent to was never actually accepted the invite. So technically this is available until that invite is accepted. Should have probably thought about that ahead of time. Here's what I'm going to do. I just ended the call. I'm going to go ahead and accept that invite, bro. Let's go to Gmail and then actually accept it. That's what's happening here. All right. Wait, so here it is, right? New event, conflict. I'm going to add to calendar. Let's see. We just accepted it. Let's see if it changes on our actual. Yeah, see? Now it's actually marked as dark blue, meaning, you know, it's not available. It's actually booked. So that was the issue. I'm pretty sure that was the issue, Miles. Let's go ahead and give it one more call. See what happens.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, I just want to book a calendar meeting with you guys for April 22. I want to schedule a technician to come out. My address is 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, Missouri, 63105. My first name is Anmar, and my last name is Miles.
Great, Anmar Miles. Thanks. I can get that set up for April 22. What time would you like the technician to come out? Morning or afternoon is fine, or a specific time?
Let's do 10:30 a.m.
Okay, April 22nd at 10:30 a.m. What's the short reason you want the technician to come out? For example, leaking, clogged drain, no hot water, sewer sump issue.
Clogged drain. Why'd you make a face, Miles?
Drain, just to confirm, on April 22 at 10:30 a.m., not the 20th, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
is this actively backing up?
Yeah,
or
yeah, the 22.
Perfect. April 20th at 10:30 a.m. for a clogged drain. Just one quick check. What year is that for?
2026. It's asking because we never gave it a year in its system prompt. I know, it doesn't make sense, but we have to tell it the year.
While I check our calendar.
Now it's
and
checking.
See if that's available.
No, it said April 22nd. That's why I made a weird face.
He did say April 22nd because it's what I said.
Thanks for the correction. Just to make sure I've got it right. You want April 22, 2026 at 10:30 a.m. for a clogged drain at 935 Holly Hills, St. Louis, MO 63105 for Anmar Miles. Is that correct?
Yes.
One moment. I just scheduled you on our calendar for the time we talked about. Anything else I can help with?
Well, did you tell me if you guys were available during that time or not?
Yes, there were openings on our calendar at 10:30 a.m. on April 22nd, 2026.
All right. We're like mixed of emotions right now, Miles. We're like happy
Yeah.
and sad and frustrated and angry and like. But did you see it create a booking like in real time?
Yeah, I seen it pop in there.
So-
Configuration's working, but
It did do it. This is the same thing I was talking to you about earlier. I don't know if I trust Vappy's agent itself directly doing this inside of Google Calendar. I almost want to just configure a custom function going into here. And so that way, what we can do is we can just literally have control over everything that's happening. At the same
checking
time,
availability,
what's that?
like checking availability in Make.
Yeah, bro. Look, we can do all of that here. Look, we can get free busy information. And the only thing this module needs is arrange from and arrange to. And again, these have to be specific formats, but like this AI would get as input literally everything that was sent to it, right? So it would look at this message and it will then generate the things that go here. And then the result of that could go into this guy. And then the result of this guy, which is just, hey, I just scheduled it, can go back to the agent as a response. This makes me so much happier to do.
A little sense.
Because it makes more sense. We have way more control over like really what's happening here. And also we got to realize that there's a lot of things we did not prompt our voice AI. Let's take some notes, Miles. This is very, very important. This is part of building voice AI agents, by the way, like what we just did and how we just experienced it and all of that. You're going to spend a lot of time doing this if you're building the stuff that like actually matters. So this is your first time going through it. Welcome to the rodeo. I've done this probably a million times at this point, but let's do this here. We're going to jump into, say, things we need to add to our system prompt. First one, the current year, today's date. Let's see if we can somehow give it today's date so we can use it as reference. How it should treat when someone says tomorrow or next Friday. Right? You gotta remember, some people might say, hey, how about tomorrow? Are you available next Friday? Well, if it can't reference today's date, like if it doesn't know what today's date is, it has no idea when tomorrow is or when next Friday is. So we have to give it today's date as a reference point, and it's gonna be able to like jump into tomorrow or jump into Friday from today's date and count, find out exactly which date that is. So today's date, tomorrow or next Friday. Also, do not over confirm and repeat info again and again. Also, it needs to, what was the big one? The big ugly one. April 22nd, the 2nd, it needs to know how to deal with it, right? So we need to tell it when somebody says 22nd or 3rd, etc. All right. Anything else that we pointed out?
I think that should be it, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie, my brain's low-key fried. We've been on this for like hours, dude. Brain's low-key fried right now. But here's what we'll do. I'll call it a day for today because we did a lot. For the next day, tomorrow or whenever, we are going to take all of this. We're gonna make it a big context dump. So we're gonna turn it into text, and we're gonna jump back into.
Let's just throw it all into ChatGPT.
Exactly. We're going to throw it into this guy. And on top of throwing it in here, we're also going to make sure that it has the original system prompt that we gave it.
Yeah.
So that way, when it makes those changes, it can make them in the original system prompt and just output that back to us. So that's what we're going to pick up off of. But we made some very good strides today. We made sure that our agent can actually schedule directly from VAPI, so at least we know that integration works. The actual diagnostics, perfect. It's sending information into make.com, perfect. Our webhook works. All the really like ugly and important stuff is working for sure. What we're doing right now, Miles, if we were to like theoretically talk about this, we put on our screws and we have to tighten our screws now. Okay, so all of this is really screw tightening. It's not.
We have to add the cement to the bricks.
Yeah, we put the bricks together. We gotta add the cement. Same thing. We have to make sure that we do all this stuff, and we're gonna do that in our next session. But I liked 5.4 Nano. I think it performed pretty good, pretty fast. It was able to call the right tools at the right time, so that's good. All right, man. See you tomorrow, bro.
Yeah, bro. We'll be on tomorrow.
Let's go.
I'll text you.
All right, guys, so today what we're going to do is we're going to be tightening our system, right? Remember, we had that example of basically our system is a bunch of screws, and we are tightening them up right now, okay? It's loose. So part of that is fixing the stuff that we did not like, which was obviously part of the testing period. You want to make sure you're testing the thing, and you're calling it again and again and again, and every time it does something weird, that's going to be directly responsible by the system prompt, right? So here's what we have to do. We have to tell our system the current date and the current year immediately. And I am not going to go into these until we do this stuff first. This should be pretty simple. And I'm going to explain to you a quick concept here, Miles. It should help you understand how we're going to be doing this. Because obviously, a system prompt is not something that is changing, right? And years and dates are changing day by day. So how are you going to give something that changes every single day and a system prompt that's meant to stay the same, right? That might throw people off. That's a very weird concept. But if you think about it, Miles, we're already familiar with this because we do this exact same thing inside of Make, okay? Let me break it down for you. Let's just say right now we had a Make module and we had, 3 other ones after it. You know how inside of the Make configuration, inside of the module configuration, we have, let's just say, there's a number 1 right here, and, we expanded that one and we see a bunch of different things, okay? And if we wanted to say, grab one of these things and put it right here in the next module, okay? What is this process called? We talked about this. What is this, Smiles?
Mapping.
Exactly. So you're mapping it, right? The idea about mapping is your actual automation itself, your make.com module, is not moving, right? It's static. By the way, the word static means not changing. I need you to keep that in the back of your mind every time you see the word static. The opposite of that, which is changing, is dynamic. I'm going to start using these words a lot more, so I need you to be familiar with them. The module itself is static. It's not changing. But the pieces of information, the tiny piece of information that are coming from the results of the previous module that go into the next module, these are dynamic because they change, right? Every single time a run happens, this thing becomes something different, and whatever value is in this thing goes into the next module. That actual piece of information, what do we call it, Miles? Remember how we had every single one of them its own thing? What is this thing called right here?
Output?
No, so the output is the entire thing, right? No, I'm talking about literally what is one singular piece of information. If, for example, yes, you got it. It's a variable. So I was going to say, if this was maybe like first name right here. Oh, this is huge. If this was first name, let me fix it for you so you guys can see it. If this was first name and the one that was right under it was maybe called last name, right? Every single one of these is a variable. And the way that a variable is written, Miles, when you're looking at code, is in a specific format. So let me break that down. Do you remember how we talked about the output itself? All it is just a pretty version of JSON. Do you remember that? Let me refresh that for you, right? So remember this concept right here, right? How this view, right, when it's parsed, this is JSON, and when JSON is parsed, it then looks like the pretty stuff that we're used to seeing, right? Let me break something down for you real quick, Miles. Let's look at just the word title, okay? I want you to see, this is the parsed version, aka the pretty version of it. What's the code version of this look like? Let's look at the JSON, okay? I want you to pay attention to the format of it. Let's go find title and then Chesterfield service. So I'm going to open this up, and here it is. Title, Chesterfield service, right here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to throw it in this whimsical right here so we can look at it by itself. And actually, technically, I didn't copy the entire thing because there's a lot of things pieced up together. So let's just pretend this was the entire body. It would look something like this, okay? Now, Miles, this is a format of JSON. This is really what it looks like before it gets parsed. A variable, if we wanted to write the format of a variable by itself, okay, just a variable, not the entire key value pair. This is what this is called, okay? When you're looking at JSON and you're looking at the title of something and the value of it, this right here is called a key, and this is called a value. This is a key value pair, okay? This is very simple format of JSON. You have something, which is the title of it, and then you have the actual value of it. For example, let's just say we're talking about shoes, okay? We can have a key value pair that's like shoe, and then it's going to be the colon, and then it's going to say Nike. Let's just bring up another key value pair just to say we have it. Shoe, and then this one is going to be Adidas. So, do you see like what a key value pair actually is? It's a label of that thing and what that thing actually is. So this is how it's presented in JSON, right? So if I open this up, you can see title, Chesterfield service, total score, aka reviews, 4.9. Review count, this is the title, 4,367. And you can see street. This is the value for that, 245 Chesterfield. Do you see how it's all presented in these key value pairs? The reason why I'm telling you this, Miles, is because if you wanted to present just the value by itself in this code format and have your AI read it, the way that that's written is with two open curly braces like this, and then whatever the name of that value actually is, closed with 2 curly braces. So this right here, this value, is just one singular thing that is basically treated exactly like a variable. So this gets replaced. Do you have any questions so far?
What are we applying this to?
I love that question. That is a beautiful question. We're going to take this value, okay? Now think about this. Remember I told you, I want you to keep it in mind right now, this is going to be something that gets replaced because it is a variable, and variables get replaced. And you know this just because we know that here we map them, right? These are variables, they're mapped and they get replaced. And we know that this is the parsed version of them. But in reality, the ugly real version of them before they get all cute looks like this. And we know that only one of them, the actual value, is presented in this way. Which means if we go to our voice agent and we went into it, and this agent, by the way, like way deep down in its instructions that are given to it by Vappy, not by us, by Vappy, the actual company. What they did is they already made a bunch of pre-built variables, okay? Vappy team itself, they have something like this, pre-built, okay? It's gonna say date. I'm just making examples right here. It's gonna say first name. We're gonna say country code, whatever. So Vappy has a bunch of these pre-built variables where if you take one of them and you throw them in the system prompt of a voice AI agent, when that agent goes and looks at its system prompt, it doesn't see the word. It actually sees what that thing is, aka the time, aka the date, aka the country code. Does that make sense? So there's a list of pre-built variables that you can literally just, in the right format that they're supposed to be presented, put them into Vappy. And it will parse this, and instead of like just looking at the word time, this would get actually replaced with an actual time. So then the AI would see the actual time. It's literally like throwing a live variable that's going to get replaced every time it gets looked at by the voice AI in its system prompt. Do you get it?
Yes.
That was a weird yes. So I'm going to show you it in action. If we came here, Miles, right under here, we created a brand new section. We gave it a header, and in this header, we said current time. Now look what we're going to say. This is the current time. And how are we going to give it the current time, Miles? Imagine if this was make.com and you were mapping something in here. You're mapping a variable. Normally what you would do is you would drag it from the module before it and you would throw it in here, but it would still be presented as a variable. So how is a variable presented? By itself. It's in this format, in this double curly brace format. And we know that there's a bunch of pre-built variables that the AI, when given to it in its system prompt, will replace them with whatever that thing actually is. So now if we literally took this right here, this time, and we just did this, right? Mind you, I don't know if this is the actual name, like that Vappy pre-built. I'm just showing this as an example. But if we did this, we said this is the current time, and we threw this into it, when the AI goes and looks at its system prompt, it's going to read the sentence, and instead of seeing the word time, it's going to actually see the current time. Does that make sense? This is literally what it would see.
But whenever you put the time variable in there, you'd have to put it in those
2 curly braces. This is the format that it's expecting it. The reason why...
Yeah, why is that? Is that how it will read it?
Well, I'm going to keep comparing it to make. Why do we do it in make? Okay? Why did we come here and format it in this way? Why?
Because that's how it has to be written in.
This is how make.com is expecting it to look like, Miles. So on the voice AI end, the formatting for that variable is what Vappy is expecting it to look like. And I'm going to show you something real quick. What if we decided to purposefully break this format? Look what I just did. All I did was I deleted this. I'm going to delete this bracket right here. That's all I did. And I'm going to click save. Nothing else changed. If I try to run this, guess what?
It'll give you an error.
It broke. It doesn't even work. Do you see how important formatting is?
Yep.
So this is all that we're doing, is we are literally going to be giving it a variable in its system prompt. And the only way we can give it this variable is because VAPI pre-baked, they pre-created a bunch of variables that when you give it to it in here, it would replace whatever is in here with the actual value of that variable. So now what I want to do is I want to find out what that variable actually is, okay? And the way that I'm going to do that, Miles, is I'm literally just going to cheat. Again, I love cheating, bro. This is my favorite thing. I'm going to come here, open up a temporary chat, and I'm going to say, look in VAPI's documentation and let me know if I wanted to give my voice AI agent as a variable in its system prompt the current date and time. How would I give it to it? What is the format? What do I paste in its system prompt? I'm literally cheating. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just throwing words. I'm very tired right now. Like, my brain's not even working. But look at this. We found it. It's just now. That's it. So if I took this exact sentence and I came here and I said current date and time now, that's it. I'm going to click publish and that's it, bro. So we just threw a variable in here that is pre-baked. Remember, VAPI created this already. And we just needed to know that what it is. And this is going to get replaced with the actual current date and time when the voice AI looks at its system prompt, even though it doesn't look like it to us.
What does that help with if somebody was to ask what the time is to the voice agent?
So if we didn't have this, if I deleted it, and you said, hey, are you guys available tomorrow? How the fuck is it going to know what tomorrow is? Answer me that question. How's it going to know what today's date is? How is it going to know what year we're in? How is it going to know anything?
It's not.
It's not. It's all it is just an AI brain. It does not know what you don't tell it. It doesn't live in real time. This is just a small system prompted version of this AI. So you have to give it that information, right? And so with us giving it this, now what happens is when I say, hey, are you guys available tomorrow? It's going to look at this and it's going to say, hey, today's date is, I'm just going to make up a random date. Today's date is May 25th. And because I know today's date is May 25th, when the caller says tomorrow, that should only mean May 26th. And May 26th, well, that's going to be the date that I'm going to look for in the calendar. And he said 2 p.m. So I'm going to look now for May 26th, 2 p.m. And this current date and time also, I'm pretty sure has a year in it. Here's the beautiful thing about it not having a year. Let's just say this variable right here that we threw into it, when it actually looked at it, this is what it saw. The current date and time is May 25th, 9:52 p.m. It doesn't know the year yet, correct? So with the year, you can get away with just telling it the year, right? Because the year is not changing every day. The year is changing once a year. So you could just say the current year is 2026, and that's it. Because 2026 is not changing every day, but this is changing every day. This is changing every minute.
That, yeah.
This is changing every minute. I want you to understand the idea here. Huh?
If you kept it at May 25th, 9:52 p.m., say somebody was to call on January 17th at 7 o'clock, and it had it right there for the static.
Yep, statically.
Statically?
Yep.
Would it tell whoever's asking, or would it have that in its head that it's May 25th, 9:52?
I know exactly what you're asking, but you phrased it in a crazy way, so I'm going to rephrase it. You're saying if we statically told the date and time to the voice AI and somebody called it, is it going to let them know, or at least use this as reference without knowing that they're calling on January 25th? Right?
Yeah.
Let's play it out. Ring, ring. Hello. Can I book an appointment tomorrow? Now the AI is going to look at its date. It's going to see that today's date is May 25th, and then it's going to assume that tomorrow has to be May 26th. And then it's going to look in the calendar for May 26th without even giving a single thought that it's January, because it doesn't know it's January.
Yep.
If the person asks it, it's like, hey, what's today's date? It will literally say May 25th because that's what it has in its brain. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this is its source of truth. This is what it knows. This is literally its brain, Miles.
How would you say that? So we'd say, so we have, because it's not mapping it, is it? We would have to put that variable in there as...
Yep. So all we did is we found this predetermined variable that Vappy already made. There's a bunch of them, okay? Every single one is designed to let the voice AI know some piece of information that changes frequently. The whole idea of a variable is that it's not static, right? A variable is meant to be dynamic, is meant to be changing. I'm going to keep using make.com as an example of this. Every single piece of information here, Miles, is a variable, okay? These variables, every single time the automation runs, they're going to change, right? The first name is going to change. The last name is going to change. The address is going to change. But we need everything around it to stay the same. You can see here what we're doing. The actual instructions for ChatGPT are static. They're not variables. This is not one variable, bro. This is a static thing. This will never change. But a variable will always change when a new run happens because this is just a placeholder. This is a perfect example of the difference between static and dynamic, Miles. This is static. Every time this ChatGPT module runs, it's going to read these exact words. And every time it runs, it's going to look at a variable which can change depending on the previous module, right? So you can see right now it's Chesterfield service. But what if we ran something different in this guy? Then that Chesterfield service is going to change, meaning whatever goes in the website field is going to change. This is the same idea applied in here, right? Is the fact that we have a bunch of variables, except this time we're mapping them manually. We're doing it ourselves. We're not like dragging and dropping something. We're literally going in here and typing in the variable in the format that Vappy's expecting it.
Question.
Yo.
With all of the predetermined variables, then wouldn't it be smart to put all of them in there?
Well, do we need to use all of them in there? Do you even know which ones you want to use? Here's the thing when you decide to do that, right? You got to remember, all of this is context. This is eating at the context window of your AI, okay? And believe it or not, just because this is very complex does not mean it's always the best thing. We ran into a problem earlier where the AI model that we were using before this, which was XAI, aka Grok or Twitter's AI, it could not do the tools. Do you remember?
Yep.
It couldn't send a webhook to make.com because the model was weak. So the more complexity you add and the more information you add, the more reliant you are on the model being able to handle that every single time it operates. And if we're looking at this, we want it to be as close to 100% of the time, aka the more you add here, the more you're lowering that percent from being 100% correct every single time somebody calls. Because believe it or not, these things are still very unpredictable, right? Even the people that create them don't know what they're going to do next, right? Nobody really knows what goes on behind. So they're very, very unpredictable. You got to keep that in mind. The more complexity and the more bullshit you add here that you think it's going to use and it never uses, well, that's just going to hurt its performance at the end of the day. Because this model still needs to operate and it still needs to be able to handle its instructions. So there's a balance. You got to keep that in the back of your mind when you're doing this, okay? This is while we're here, right? What are all the other variables I can give it in the system prompt? I knew you were going to say that because this is the most natural next question here. What else can we give it? Here's the main ones. You got now, which is a full timestamp. You have date. It's giving it only the date. You have time. And then you have the same thing, but in a specific format. So if we wanted it to have the date in year, month, date, specifically, I wanted it to be reading it in this format, we can use this. Same thing with the now and the minutes and all that. I don't even know what the other ones are, to be honest. Here's this stuff. Caller information. You can, in real time, give it a phone number and the name and the email just from you pasting this. Actually, this won't, like in the beginning right now, we're not doing email and name because we're not capturing this without them telling us. But for phone number, remember how I mentioned this is something we're capturing without anybody saying it to us?
Yes.
If I were to take this right now, because that's something that we already have, and I go and I paste it in here, it now then will know the exact phone number of the customer just by me throwing it in here. Do you get that?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and make sure that it has the current date and time. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go to the system prompt. I'm going to say this is the current date and time, obviously referencing that variable. And then after that, I'm going to tell it when and how it should use this date and time, right? So right under this, I'm just going to drop a line. I'm going to say use this when a caller is asking about any dates. So we're going to say use this when a caller is asking about anything time related where you need to find out the current time and use it as a reference point to know which date and time the caller is referring to. Okay. And I'm also going to add the current year is 2026. Okay. And that's not going to change. So let's go ahead and just quickly test this change right here. Okay. This is the only thing that we added. This is the current time. Now uses when a caller is asking about anything. All right, cool. That looks nice. Publish and skip and publish. And now I'm going to call it real quick just to make sure it knows about this current time.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, man, what's today's date?
Sure. Today's date is April 14th, 2026.
All right, so it did not get it correct. So it said 14th. It's actually the 13th. But I'm wondering if it's looking at the wrong time zone. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to say this is the current date and time now. And we are in America/Chicago time zone. See if that will fix it. That's usually the culprit for it getting a date completely wrong.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, what's today's date?
Today's date is April 14th, 2026.
So it's still saying April 14th, 2026. I wonder why it's actually doing that. It's actually very weird. Let me troubleshoot this right now real quick. Let's check our organization settings and see if we have some sort of settings that we need to configure for our time zone. Authorization, time, server URL, not here, billing, members, integrations, profile. I don't see anything time zone related in here. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I am gonna see if I could cheat real quick in the system prompt. So I'm gonna jump back here, and this is just me kind of throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. Just because we could go the whole route of trying to figure out why it's giving us a day ahead, or we could just kind of tell it whatever day that it knows to just subtract the day from there. So that way it always thinks the day is the correct day, if that makes sense. So right now we're saying the current date and time is now, and we're in America time zone. Whatever day you see, subtract 1 day, and that is the actual day or today date. You see, I'm kind of just like cheating in its system prompt.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I really don't know why it's giving us a day ahead. I could go through and troubleshoot it and try to maybe find out online, but kind of want to get this going.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, what's today's date?
Today's date is April 13th, 2026.
You see how that fixed it?
Yep.
So it got it. It said it was April 13th, which is correct, right? That is the day we're recording this. So now it knows that. Cool. Let me ask it one more thing. Let me see if it knows the year. Probably should have done that earlier.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, what's today's date and year?
Today is April 13th, 2026.
Okay, what's the actual day though? What day is that?
Today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2026.
Wait, Miles, is that accurate? Is it actually Tuesday?
It's Monday.
Still, it's looking
Feel free
at
to
the
ask me any questions.
it's looking at the 14th again. See if we can figure this out real quick. I'm kind of just doing this because I don't know the exact culprit for why it's doing that. And right now, what ChatGPT is going to do is it's going to go look at its documentation, and it's also going to look at probably some community writing. And if anybody else ran into this issue before, it's going to bring it up. It's the first time I've seen it where it's like going a day ahead. And I wonder it's because of my time zone. I found the main clue. VAPI document is now as current date and time in UTC, not the caller's local time zone. That alone can make it appear one calendar day ahead during evening hours in US time zones. That makes sense because we are recording in the evening right now. Checking one more source. So this is happening because InVAPI now is documented as UTC, not the caller's local time zone. VAPI variable page explicitly lists now as current date and time UTC, and the other built-in date parts like date, time, and day and month are also UTC based. So if your local time zone is behind UTC, the date can look one day ahead during part of the evening. That explains it, man. Look at this. April 13th, 8:30 p.m., which is like literally around the time we're recording this. UTC, it's April 14th, 1:30. So now it's actually not showing 13th, it's showing the 14th. Let's see. So for your case, the safest fix is to stop using the raw now and instead format it with the time zone you want for central time use. So I wonder if this works. Now let's see. Can I use this directly within the VAPI system prompt? I've never done this before, bro. So I'm wondering right now, this is the first time. Let's see. VAPI system prompt supports liquid templating, so it will work. Current date and time, now date, or just the date. All right. So I guess the best way to go about it is to ask for liquid templating of the date and time. So this is the format that should give you the caller's actual time zone and not the UTC time. That's a very good tip for me to know moving forward. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy that, which is basically everything inside of the, again, like the formatting of a variable is everything that's in these open and closed curly brackets. So I'm going to copy that real quick, and I'm going to jump back into this bad boy, and then I'm just going to replace this one. So I'm going to do Control V. I'm not going to say we're in American Chicago time zone anymore because you can see that's already in the variable. And I'm not going to put the cheat code in real quick. Whatever day you see, subtract 1 day. That's the actual day of today's date, because that should fix it right here. And we're going to keep this line under it. Use this when a caller is asking about anything time related, where we need to find the current time as reference point, and the current year is 2026. All right, let's test it out. See if this works, bro. Skip and publish. Which model are we on? 5.4 nano. All right, cool. I'm going to call it one more time, and let's see. So I'm going to do a quick test. I'm going to tell it to book on the 14th, which is tomorrow at 2 p.m. First of all, I want to see if it knows if this is available or not. I'm going to purposely make it booked. This is just me throwing a fake booked thing here. So when it checks 2 p.m., it should not be available.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, quick question. Are you guys available tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
Give me a quick sec while I check our calendar and see if that's available. Yes, there's availability tomorrow at 2 p.m. Would you like me to get you booked for that?
You know what? Go ahead and book me for 2.
This will just take a sec. I just scheduled you on our calendar for the time we talked.
All right, conclusions. It did do a booking, right? Look at this. Plumbing visit, clogged toilet. But for some reason, it like completely avoided that we already had a booked spot here. Yo, so guys, that whole feature of failing to check availability through VAPI directly was kind of driving me crazy. So what I did was I decided to do a little bit of digging, and I found out that VAPI hosted
a little 42-minute demo for a feature about 3 weeks ago. And in this demo, this is their product manager. They, in his demo, he tried to also schedule an appointment for 2 p.m. during a scheduled block, and he was testing out the check availability tool, and it also failed for him, and it wasn't working for him. Let me show you guys.
Sure thing. Can I get a name for the appointment?
Yeah, it's Nick.
Let me check the calendar.
Right, so you can see it did the calendar check tool, okay?
At 2 p.m. Pacific time available tomorrow, March 18th.
And it said it was available, which is not
Does that
true.
work for you?
Okay, still not totally working. So I can keep debugging this as we take some more questions. But to the question earlier in chat, like functionally this should be working. For some reason, it's reading as
Yeah, buddy, you're
busy.
cooked.
I wonder if it.
You're cooked. Look at that. It's clearly busy. All right. Anyways, they didn't even fix it in their own webinar. So what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen, is we're gonna do something that you're gonna have to get used to doing in this world, which is doing something better and improvising and figuring out a different way. And right now, it's exactly what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the way that I should have shown you from the beginning. I thought this feature would make it easier, but when I was building these a long time ago, we had to do this the quote unquote manual way. And what that looks like is instead of directly connecting the Google Calendar tool inside of Vappy and, easy peasy, hey, log into your Google Calendar. Instead, what we're going to do is we are going to configure a tool that's going to go to make.com, and make.com is going to be responsible for actually checking the availability. And then we're going to send the available slots back into our voice AI agent through Make. It's going to be a little bit ugly. It's going to be a little bit annoying. But this is going to be a very good learning opportunity for you guys because you don't want to be stuck in the water. And of course, this should be the primary way you guys do this because it's really foundational, right? You're not relying on these guys to kind of release these features for you. You can kind of figure this out yourself by doing it the real way, which is through workflow automation. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So let's go ahead and embark on that journey, Mr. Miles. Right now, we're back into Make. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new scenario. Okay, it's going to be a brand new workflow. And here I'm actually going to name it real quick just so that way we can make sure this is properly named. And I'm going to name it check availability, right? Exactly what it's responsible for, just checking availability. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a webhook, okay? Just like we did before. Remember, everything that's coming from Vappy is getting sent to an address. And that address is the webhook. We already configured this for you guys in this info collect tool. Okay, I already did this in front of you guys. This is this URL right here. So we're going to have to create a brand new webhook here. And we're going to say custom webhook. And here we're going to click add. And we're going to name it. We're going to say check availability. Okay, very simple, very straightforward. I'm going to click save. And here I am going to get that webhook address. I'm not going to copy it just yet. I'm going to click save here. And then I'm going to jump back into Vappy. Okay. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the tool section and then I'm going to click create tool. And then I'm going to do custom tool, right? Because this is not any of their out of the box tools. This is something that we are doing ourselves. And in this custom tool, I'm going to name it check _ availability, all lowercase. Okay. And description of the tool is going to be use this tool to check the calendar's availability when needing to check the calendar for free. Oh, can't even spell today. For free or busy slots. I'm actually going to change the name a little bit. Instead of just check availability, I'm going to say check availability make because I don't want it to get confused with the other check availability tool. Okay. I really want it to be straightforward. I'm going to click save. We're going to configure this exactly like the other one. Okay. So you guys can see in the other one, is this going to be an asynchronous tool? AKA, is it going to execute as the agent is talking? We probably want it to not do that. We want it to execute and then the agent talks. So this is going to be off. And strict is, do we want to enforce strict parameters? Require all the properties to be marked as required and everything is locked. Yes, we do. Okay, that just means that the information that we're going to be asking for, we definitely do want to collect ahead of time. All right. In here, what we're going to do is we're going to add property, and these are going to be the variables. So what variables do we want here? What we want, ideally, we have different options here. We could do several variables where we could do like one variable could be just the date, one variable could be just the time, and one variable could be just the year, whatever. Or we can combine them all into one format, which is the same format that comes out of this liquid that we get from this variable, right? And so I think this is going to be the easiest thing, right? Imagine if we just send this whole thing as just one variable, with the day, with the date, with the time, with the year, with all that stuff. Okay, I think we're gonna use this. So what I'm gonna do here is I am gonna say, I'm gonna use this as an example. I'm gonna jump back here. I'm gonna say this is the requested date, time, month, and year of the time slot that needs to be checked if it is available in this format. And then I'm gonna paste this. So what we're saying here is we're telling it, first of all, let's actually give it a name. We're gonna say this is requested time. That's going to be the name of the variable, and it's going to be a string. So this is fairly standard, right? We're not collecting a specific number or an object or a list of things. We're going to keep this a string, and we're saying this is the requested date, time, month, and year of the time slot that needs to be checked in. I'm going to try to be as precise as I can be. Checked in the calendar if it is available in this exact format. I'm going to say collected in this exact format, not just in this. Available, collected, and sent in this exact format. And I think that's it. I'm going to mark this as required, and then I'm going to click apply, and that's it. So now we have that variable. So now I'm going to copy this variable, and then I'm going, actually before I copy it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, grab the webhook address, and then I'm going to throw it down here for the server URL, because that's where we're going to be sending these pieces of information. We're not having any authentication. We're not doing any of that stuff. Cool. And here, I'm going to click save. So we should be good on this tool. Now let's go ahead and actually tell the voice AI about this tool here. All right. So I'm going to go into its system prompt or system configuration. Before I do that, I'm going to get rid of this guy so that way it doesn't, use it to get confused. I'm going to get rid of it by clicking these three dots at the top and then clicking delete. I don't want this tool at all. It's obviously broken. It doesn't work. This one does work, right? For actually creating the event. We tested this one out. But yeah, let's go here and then let's go to that tool section, and we're going to replace this one with the brand new tool name, which was, what do we name it? Requested, right? Requested time. I'm going to just publish and save real quick. And I'm just going to, I actually don't remember if that was the exact tool. By the way, you guys can see like when we deleted that one, it just turned into a bunch of numbers. You can get rid of that. It doesn't matter. And you can see the new one is right here. Check availability make. Actually, that's the name of the tool. Check availability make. I confused it with the name of the variable. So we're going to go back here and give it that name. Check. Oh my goodness. Check underscore availability underscore make. And let's go down here and actually give it the way that it should use this tool, which is basically just replacing what we had earlier. So this is where we're telling about info collect. This is where we're telling it about, where else? Google Calendar check availability tool. Yep, there it is. So we just replaced the name, right? Because the instructions to actually use it are pretty much the exact same. They're not changing. So here it is, right? Check availability make, when available needs to be obtained from the calendar, when to use, how to use. Let's just make sure we get rid of this name everywhere that it pops up. And then here's that Google Calendar tool. That one's correct. That one's correct. Get rid of this name. We're not using that name anymore. And get rid of it right here. And actually, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to cheat a little bit to find out everywhere that this name exists. I'm going to click Control C here to copy it. And then I'm going to click Control F. And that's going to load up Finder at the top. And Finder is going to show you in highlight where this thing exists and how many of it is there. So I can see there's only one. This is the last one, which is good. But this is the quickest way for us to find out where this is being mentioned. So I'm going to get rid of this guy. And actually, before I do that, I'm just going to copy this. And then I'm going to scroll down and get rid of it. And that should be the last one in this system prompt. Cool. Publish. See all the changes. Skip and publish. And now what I want is I just want to make sure before I move on anywhere any further with make, I want to make sure that one, this webhook is working. So I'm going to save this. And I want to make sure that it's sending the information in the right format, right? So what are we going to do, Miles? We're pretty much going to test it, right? We're not going to book an appointment. We just want to see if this webhook is actually getting the information it needs in the same format that we want.
Hey, thanks for calling Chesterfield Service. What can I help with today?
Hey, I just want to know, are you guys available tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
Yes, we can check that. When you say tomorrow at 2 p.m., do you mean Tuesday, April 14th?
Yes. All right, so I just hung up. The tool is working. I'm gonna open up the messages and I'm gonna open up the tool call, expand, open this up, check availability make. You can see this is the tool that we named it. And look at this, requested time. This is the variable we named. And look at the format, Tuesday, April 14, 2026 at 2 p.m. Now that we have a specific format for literally the exact requested time, what I'm going to do next after that is I'm going to click the plus sign and, you know, before we form, what's that?
ChatGPT module.
Exactly. But before I even jump into the ChatGPT model, I want to show you what we're going to do. So theoretically, we want to find an availability, right? How are we going to do that? We're going to use the Google Calendar availability finder, right? So this is the Google Calendar module. And the way to find availability is all the way down here. Get free busy information. If you open this up, what this gives you is the free/busy information for a calendar. And you can see that we already have our calendar connected here. This is the one that we're using. But we got to look at two fields right here. This thing is asking us for actually three, right? It's asking us what's the calendar you want, which, you know, if you toggle this off, you can just select your calendar in a drop down, and that's pretty much done. That's pretty easy. But here, this has to be a very particular format, okay? It can't just be words. It can't just be like a number. So we have to figure out what is this format first, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to convert whatever was sent to this webhook into two variables that need to fit the right format, okay? So we're kind of working a little bit backwards from now. So what I'm going to do real quick is I am going to click Shift Windows S so I can just grab a quick screenshot of this. And then I'm going to jump into GPT real quick, the same temporary chat. And I'm going to say, using this Google Calendar get free/busy information module, what is the proper format needed in this module? Okay. Now you can obviously go into the documentation here by clicking the online help and then actually probably finding it, but we want to make sure that we are cheating as much and making sure that we're efficient. Ultimately, we want to work smarter, not harder. And if we can delegate some of these little things to ChatGPT, we're going to do it, right? Only if this is completely wrong, that's when we're going to kind of take the other high road and dig ourselves. But for the most part, since it has the ability to troubleshoot and research, we're gonna format it that way. So it's saying use one of these formats or in UTC, because your module shows time zone / American New York. Safest input is a full date time with either the local UTC offset or a UTC-Z timestamp. What this means is these two different formats. You can see one of them has the Z in it. This is the UTC-Z timestamp format that this is talking about. And then this one right here has the -04, which is an offset for that specific time zone. All that means is every time zone is offset by a specific number of hours from the default, which is UTC. Or you can just give it to it in UTC format using this. Do we care about which one it is? No, we just want something that works. So the way I'm going to decide this is I'm going to say, you know what, for America / Chicago time zone, and you guys would do this with whatever time zone you're in, taking into account also daylight saving time. If you guys do daylight saving time, make sure you take that into account, because it's very important. If you're off by an hour, obviously your whole booking is wrong. So take into account daylight saving time. What would be the correct format to give it for start and end time? When I say start and end time, I mean like the time range from, which is the start, and time range to, which is the end time. From and to. It's just asking you, hey, which time do you want me to check? You want me to check from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.? Okay, I'll check from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. But you have to make sure that the times that you want to check between go here. That's what these two fields are asking you guys about. Let's see what comes out here. Let's see. Where is it? Watch this. His dog is eating his food right now. When he comes back from peeing, he's about to start screaming about his dog eating his food.
Get it.
Look at your plate.
You've got to be fucking kidding me, bro.
I literally called it out in the video, bro. I saw the dog eating the food. I said, watch when he comes back. He's about to be pissed.
I can't have shit, bro.
So what it's telling us is we have to give it in this exact format right here. And this is called the ISO 8601 format. Do you need to know that? Probably, if you're going to be building a lot of voice AI stuff. But this is essentially the format that we need to be given that Google module. But you can see right here, if you're dealing with time sets, you have to make sure you give it this offset thing. If you don't give it the offset thing, you're gonna have the wrong time. You're gonna be off by an hour. And this is if you guys are dealing with daylight savings time. Now, is there any way for us to get around this? We could probably get around this by giving it the actual UTC without the time zone, just with the Z. And I think I'm probably gonna want to do that. So let's do this. Let's do this, right? I would like to. So imagine this, Miles, right? What we basically need is the start time and the end time in this format. And in order for us to get it in this format from something like this, which is what's being sent to us, we obviously got to make a few calls to some AIs, right? We got to talk to Mr. AI. We got to convert this into 2 different variables. And right now I'm going to teach you a skill which is going to be extremely useful when you're building AI automations, which is how you can turn text into variables. Okay. Right now, this is just a piece of text, Malin, right? You can see Tuesday, April 14. It's got number, at, and then more numbers, and then PM. This is very messy, right? This is not what we need it to be. So the way that this is going to work is, let me show you the flow real quick inside of Whimsical. So the way that this is going to work, and this is the method for converting text into usable pieces of variables that you can then individually map and use on their own inside of make.com or really any workflow automation. If you have text, in order for this text to become usable, you need to take this text and you need to convert it to JSON. Remember JSON? We use this a lot already. We use this with the scraper system in Appify. We use this, I explained to you JSON in the parsing example. So we need to take this text and we need to turn it into JSON. And the way that JSON works is key value pairs, which are like this, right? Remember that example I said shoe right here, right? Let's just say we had a key of shoe, which is the category, and then the value for that is like blue. So the computer reads this as the shoe is blue, okay? This is the format for JSON if you wanted to use the word blue as a variable for the category of the shoe. This is a pair, key value pair. And when it's in JSON format, Miles, the way that you get it out of being actual code, actual little, pieces of JSON is by then parsing it. We did this already. Remember, we did this with our local scraper for the businesses. We took a bunch of output from Appify, which was raw JSON, right? And then we parsed it manually ourselves through our own make automation. You remember that? So this is what we have to do. This is what our AI has to do. It needs to take in as text, turn it into JSON, and then we're going to parse it with another module. So I'm going to jump into Make real quick and let's throw an AI module in the middle. And this could be a very, very simple task. So it doesn't have to be like a crazy model, right? It just needs to be something that it works, right? Something that's operatable. It just needs to be something that could handle a little bit of understanding, right? It doesn't need to be anything crazy. So we're going to go down here and we could probably get away with using our 4.1 nano. Again, cheapest model, literally one of the easiest ones to configure. And we're going to set up something here. Obviously, we're going to need to set up 2 things, not just one, right? We're dealing with a system prompt, which is the prompt that tells it what it is, what it does, and how it's supposed to do it. And then we're also giving it a user prompt, which is going to give it the actual content that it needs to interact with, aka those pieces of information. So what does our system prompt need to be? Okay, we need to tell it that it needs to convert that thing that we pulled here from our webhook into this format that we care about right here. Okay, so I'm literally gonna go here in the same exact chat and I'm gonna say, I want you to give me a tiny system to be used by an AI whose job is going to be taking as text, or actually I'm literally gonna give it an example. I'm gonna say be taking, and then I'm gonna jump into the tool. I'm gonna copy the exact format, right? Because this is gonna be the same format that it comes in every single time. That's what we told our AI to do. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be taking the date and time format like this. And I'm just going to throw this in quotations. And its job is to output 2 key value pairs as JSON. Why are we saying this, right? Remember, we need JSON because we need it to be in that little code format, and we need it to be 2 key value pairs. Right, so the reason why I'm saying 2 is because obviously we have 2 fields that we need to fill out, right? We need the time range from, which is the start time, and we need the time range to. So this is 2 completely different variables. That's why we need 2 key value pairs. So what that's gonna look like is the first key value is going to be something like start time, right? I can't even fit it. And the second one is gonna be end time. Whatever, okay? And it's gonna be the same exact format. This is what we want it to be, right? Start and end. So our AI is gonna be responsible for getting it into that format, and we're just gonna go back here into ChatGPT and say 2 key value pairs as JSON, label each as start time and end time. And you can see I'm using the naming, the camel case naming, okay? Get used to using the camel case naming when you guys are naming individual pieces of variables. This is very common, and it's helpful with organization, okay? You don't want to be messy when you're labeling all your variables. So I'm saying, okay, label each as start time and end time, and make sure that the start time is in, which is now what's the format that we actually want, is going to be the UTC is in UTC with the Z, and make sure the end time is exactly, what do you think this is going to be, right? What's the end time? If we're checking for 2 p.m., the end time is going to be the time where the slot ends. So we're going to say, we're going to check for,
Right?
what's that?
3 p.m., right?
Yeah, let's just say it, which is the end time is exactly an hour. Okay, so now what this is going to take in is this is going to take this in, and then it's going to convert it to 2 variables. It's going to give us a start time, which is going to be the 2 p.m., and then it's going to give us the end time, which is going to be 3 p.m. And both of them are going to be in this exact format right here, which is what that make module is expecting. All right, and I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to say tell it to make sure to output only the JSON and nothing else, no other comments or extra punctuation. And why am I doing that, right? Sometimes ChatGPT might respond to you and say, okay, sure, here is your time, right? We don't want that. We don't want nothing. We just want like the actual JSON itself, because I showed you how important the formatting is. If we remove like one square bracket and try to parse it, it doesn't work. It breaks. I showed you that last time. So that's what we're gonna do here, okay? And you can see by itself, it started with a role, which is what I've been teaching you to do, right? You are a date time parser. It makes no sense. This is not a real role, but it's very good practice to always start with a role. Input will be human readable format like this, and then it's given it the conversion. Assume the input is America's Chicago time zone. Correctly account for daylight savings, and only output valid JSON. Do not include any explanations, text, or extra characters. This is pretty good. This is nice. So now I'm gonna jump back into this bad boy and give it the system prompt. I just pasted it. Boom. I don't even have to work hard for that. So now I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna give it that content it needs to work with, right? What does it need to do this with? So I'm gonna say this is the time you will do this with. And then I'm going to do what, Miles?
You're gonna map it.
What are we mapping?
The variable from the webhook.
Exactly.
The output.
Yeah, you got it. We're mapping the variable from the output. That's perfect, bro. Yep. So now, the maximum output tokens, we're not expecting a huge output, so we can leave this as it is and save. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna test it, but we're gonna test it manually. So the way we're gonna test it manually is we're gonna go here and copy the output that came out, right? And then we're going to right click on this ChatGPT module. We're gonna say run module only. And because we gave it that what's it called? That requested time variable, we could just throw this in here, right? We just boom, pop it in here and see what it's gonna do. So I'm gonna click OK, and look, now it should be cooking up. Let's look at this result. Look at that. The result is perfect. It's a JSON body. It is 2 key value pairs, right? This is the key, this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. And you can see the first one is start time and the second one is end time. So now what we have to do, Miles, is this is still text. Okay, this is still not usable. This is still kind of, they're all part of the same exact body, right? We can't use this in 2 different variables. So what are we gonna have to do, Miles, here? What do you do to JSON in order to not get it, in order to get it from this to 2 variables that are usable?
Use the JSON tool.
Yeah, but what's the actual thing called that you do to it? Starts with a P.
I forgot.
You forgot? All right, I'll show you it. So add module, and then we're gonna search for JSON, right? This is JSON stuff. Which one is it?
Yes. The parse.
There you go. We're parsing it, bro. It's the same tool we use for our scraper. I'm gonna go here, and this is going to literally take as JSON string. It's gonna take the JSON and it's gonna parse it and give us 2 usable variables. So again, we can test this one manually too. What's that?
You map in the GPT output.
Yep, you would map in the ChatGPT output. But before we do that, I'm gonna test it manually to show you what this looks like. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna copy the output. And then I'm just gonna open this up. I'm gonna paste it in here, click save, and then I'm gonna run this module only. And look what we get. We get 2 variables. It took in one thing and it gave us 2. It gave us start time and it gave us end time. Look, they're 2 different things. So now what we could do, Miles, is we can go into Google Calendar, and because it's asking us for the start time and the end time, we can go here and we can literally, actually, hold up. I don't think this is even detecting that we connected this. I just disconnected and reconnected it. There we go. Look, start time by itself. We can take start time and boo, pop it here. We can take end time and pop it right here. And that's it. Look, we're done. So now we're just going to select our calendar. And look, we have successfully turned a piece of like a sentence, a literal sentence that was sent in here. ChatGPT turned into JSON. We parsed that JSON and we got 2 different variables. And these are the exact variables that this guy wants in their formatting. All right, guys, so we just ran into a quick problem we did not account for, okay? Now, mind you, I spent probably like 20 minutes off camera trying to fix this for you guys. I'm really not sure what's going on, but here's really what's happening, right? For this Google Calendar, it's obviously expecting a start time and end time, okay? And we want to make sure that this is in our correct time zone. But mind you, our time zone needs to be set up in a bunch of different places and they all have to match. Let me show you what these places actually are. Inside of our Google Calendar, here, if you go to settings, you can see that your time zone needs to match whatever time zone you're in. The same thing needs to happen inside of your make.com account settings, which is right here. And you can see that's set to the Chicago time zone, which is the correct one. And also the last thing is in the module itself for the Google Calendar. You can see this one is also set to America, Chicago. Okay. Now here's the thing. When you do a test run on this, and I'm going to show you guys this like in real time right now. I'm going to say, give me which by the way, if I go to Google right now and I just say, give me my ISO CDT time, which by the way, if I go to Google right now and I say, give me my ISO CDT time, which is the format that we care about, you can see that it is in the -05. Okay. And this is the time zone that I live in. Okay, this is what it's supposed to be. This is the ISO 8601 format for my specific time zone. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna show you this in action. Like I'm gonna test it in front of you, and I'm gonna show you what's happening here. Right? So I'm gonna say, give me the CDT time zone for my time zone for, let's just say April 14th, which is tomorrow, right? That's where we did our test right here. You can see in the calendar itself, April 14th. We want to do 2 to 3 and 4 to 5. We want to see if those are showing up through that module as busy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a search, and the search is not going to be for these specifically. It's probably going to be from here all the way until here. Okay. We're going to search this whole block and we should see 2 time slots that are busy. All right. So I'm literally going to go here. I'm going to simulate that. I'm going to say, give me the CDT time zone for my time zone for April 14th. And I'm going to say from 12 p.m. Till 8 p.m. All right. And what we're going to get is we're going to get start time and end time, which we're going to be using to simulate what's going to happen. All right. We're going to take these and we're going to use them as simulations to run the module right here, which is expecting a start time and end time in that format. That's exactly what this is. So here's that start time. And we're going to come here. We're going to go to end time. And I'm going to paste the same exact thing. Theoretically, this should be looking in those times. And it should return back for us busy 2 to 3 p.m. and 4 to 5 p.m. Here's what's happening. You can see, first of all, it's not searching the right times, okay? It just searched from 1 to 9. That is not at all what I asked. I said 12 to 8. You can see how it's off by 1, okay? Which means that it's not even searching the correct time zone. But even then, if you go to the calendar and you see the busy slots, you see there's 2 of them, right? Obviously, because we have 2 busy slots. If I open up the first one, it's telling me 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. is busy. That's not right. We actually have 2 to 3. So again, it's off by 1 hour. Same thing goes here. It's off by an hour right here. And we tried to dig into it and see why this time zone mismatch was happening, even though our settings for the time zone were literally correct everywhere. I could not figure it out. I've never seen this happen before inside of Make, where it just threw out the wrong time zone completely. And so we tried to troubleshoot it, found a bunch of extra logic and explanations that I'm not going to explain to you guys, by the way, that make.com parses and displays time. So what we're going to do as a solution is we're going to cheat, okay? We're going to do the same thing we've always been doing. We're going to cheat. We love cheating. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to, first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to offset it manually ourselves.